I'm Joseph Brooks, and this is Lawyer in the Kitchen. Welcome back to Lawyer in the Kitchen. Today we're going to make one of my most favorite recipes. This is gazpacho, but it's particularly Chuck and Harold's gazpacho from Chuck and Harold's restaurant that was in Palm Beach. This started out in 1966, this version of gazpacho. And why it's different is because some of the ingredients, but the biggest difference is this gazpacho is not pureed, it's chunky. And it's fantastic. When I was in law school, I clerked down in West Palm Beach, and over 30 years ago, and I didn't know what gazpacho was. We went to this restaurant called Chuck and Harold's, and I had this, and it was fantastic. And I looked for the recipe and actually finally found it. In fact, you can find this recipe on Pinterest. Mine's only going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to put green pepper in mine because green peppers make me burp. So, but I love them. But they just, I don't like the downside of it. But this is a painstaking kind of recipe because you have to, first of all, we're gonna cut a slit, an X, in these tomatoes on the bottom. And then we're gonna put them in boiling water for about 60 seconds, pull them out, put them in an ice bath, and then peel the skin off, hopefully. And then we're gonna cut them in half and remove all of the seeds and have as much flesh remain as possible, but no seeds. Same thing with the cucumber, only it's much easier. We'll just take the skin off, remove the seeds. We'll do a half an onion, chop it finely, chop the cucumber finely, chop a pretty coarse chop on the tomatoes. We'll do a fine chop or a mince on the garlic, fine chop on the pimento. We'll have about 3 tablespoons of chopped parsley, and then 2 tablespoons of fresh basil, tomato juice, top it off with some sour cream. You could put some croutons and some other things on the top. We'll see how we get to that. And then salt and pepper, of course. And then the one thing that makes this so different than any other recipe I've seen for this is this wishbone Italian dressing. Now, I don't use any other kind because I like this. This is particularly good. That's good for marinades. This is not a wishbone commercial, by the way. This is just particularly good. The original recipe was invented in 1966 in the Pontchartrain Hotel by Chef Larry, and they were connected to Chuck and Harold's down in Palm Beach. And they recommend an Italian vinaigrette or a choice of yours on just regular Italian dressing. This is my choice. This will be a fantastic recipe. Okay, so we're going to put an X, light X, in the bottom. And we're doing that because when we put the tomatoes into the hot water and blanch them for about 60 seconds, 30 to 60 seconds, and then put them in the ice bath, the goal is that the shock will help that skin just peel right off. And then you'll have something to grab at these corners, the 4 corners from cutting the X's. Okay, so we're gonna put these in for about 30 to 60 seconds. Not all of them at once, because we wanna have complete control. We don't wanna get them all crowded and everything. We wanna just blanch them. And if you put them in any longer than that, you got a chance of cooking them. We do not want these tomatoes cooked at all. This is not stewed tomatoes gazpacho. This is Chuck and Harold's gazpacho. Now, I have in the past put the tomatoes in and just let them boil until they do split, and that cooks them too long, but the skin will come off. All right, so here you can see this is already peeling very nicely. That's not too much work right there. You get an end to do it. This will cook just a little bit longer, but not more than 60 seconds. And this is coming off very nicely. You don't want any of that skin in there. No seeds, no skin, just tomato meat. That wasn't too bad. And I think that's the best way I've done the skinning of these things. Now this part that we're getting ready to do is this is what I absolutely hate doing in this dish. I think I would actually make this dish more often if I didn't have to do this, and that's seeded. Now you could go out and buy a can of skinless, seedless tomatoes. It will not be the same. These barely got warm. We cooled them off so quick in the ice bath. They're perfect, the flesh is perfect, and that's exactly how you want them. So this is the way we're gonna do it this time. We turn them on their side and cut them in half, like that. And then we're gonna use a little scoop to get all of the seeds and that white flesh out of there. And don't scrimp on this. You really wanna get all of it out of there. You just want tomato flesh. And I might even take a knife on this and get rid of this white pithy stuff, just so we've got this all cleaned out. We have our tomatoes done. This wasn't that bad. This is a much better method of doing this. If you look down here, you can see, Sharon, if you show that, this is really, these are clean. Okay, there's nothing but tomato flesh, no seeds, no skin. We'll cut the core out of, obviously, the top. And now we've got I've got the carrot. It looks just like a cucumber. The carrot looks just like a cucumber. Anyhow, I've got that skinned. Of course, the skin has a lot of nutrient in it, but that's not what this dish is about. This is about what taste and texture, so that's what that's gonna be. So what we'll do to that is we're gonna cut this cucumber like this. We just wanna get rid of all those seeds. And if you cut it into 4, it'd be much difficult because see, you got a nice trough here for it.
It's like a boat.
It is, and that's good, that's nice.
So we have a cucumber canoe.
A cucumber canoe. And if you were confused about it, it could be a complete alliteration as a cucumber canoe conundrum. Conundrum. Okay, we got that taken care of. All right, so we're gonna chop that up. Finally, we're gonna chop up this white onion, half a white onion. Finally, we're gonna chop up, what?
Finally, like you're done?
Finally we're done. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna have to have a little more. This isn't those long strips. These are pimentos. I don't know if I called them pimentos before or not.
You did.
Okay, that's good, but that's what they are. And you see nothing's coming out. And that's okay, because it's all right here. And we're gonna do this. It calls for 1 clove of garlic, but you'll never get 1 on there unless you have 2. So doing it like this. There. It's probably been easier to cut if I had actually left this in a single piece and then use the other half to hold it. There's several ways of doing this, and I'm sure mine's not the worst, but it's probably not the best either. I just end up chopping this thing. But I've seen people where they cut these things, they keep doing this, they cross hatch it and they keep on coming down, and then they do it like this. That actually looks great. It's probably more even. And probably if you had gone to cooking school, that's how they would have told you to do it. But I just do it the way I do it, which is like this. You see anything too big, just pull it out. You got one of them's trying to get away. Come back after them. So we'll put these in the bowl along with our garlic that's already in there. And just chop these pimentos. So now we're building this up. We're gonna do the same thing with this. These don't have to be as small. You know what's good is this, like a lot of things. Like if you do this, put this in the refrigerator, because you're not gonna eat all this anyhow. Put this in the refrigerator, and tomorrow, have it tomorrow night, this will be so much better. All of these flavors will be more well melded. This adds a nice distinctive taste. It tastes like basil. Before we cut up the tomatoes, we're gonna go ahead and put in our liquids. Okay, a cup of this tomato juice. That's good. And a cup of this. So we don't have, this really doesn't have the chunkiness that it's going to have. All right, let's go ahead and put some pepper in it. By the way, I love this pepper mill. This thing is fantastic, and it's heavy. It's great. Look at that. It actually makes pepper. Look at that. I'm happy with this. That's just like what, five, 6 strokes?
Nice.
That is a nice pepper mill. And they'll pick up the rest of the stuff off the cutting board. So we won't be losing anything. So we have all the tomatoes, everything's in here now, except no salt. And we also haven't adjusted the Italian dressing. We're gonna mix it up nicely. Now this will taste much better. It's gonna get nice and cold, but we still gotta get a little idea of where we are on seasonings. We're gonna cover it up and put it in the refrigerator for a good 30 minutes. 30, 45 minutes would be great. And she's ready to sit in the refrigerator. And try not to get it all over the glass. Now, this time we are going to have a piece of cucumber, a cucumber wedge as garnish with the seeds, okay? So we're gonna place that in here nicely. We're gonna have a dollop of sour cream. Nice. And a little color. Just enough. And let's try this. Chuck and Herald's Gazpacho. A little bit of cream. Oh. Sharon Elizabeth, that is good. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. This is my favorite, one of my favorite dishes. You'll love this. I promise you, you'll love this version. It's perfect.